Oh, look at that. Nice. Stodgy onion gravy. Perfect. Hi everyone, welcome to Backyard Chef. I'm Rick. Today we're making a use up recipe. I've got some old apples. Very old, look. You know, they are really no good for anything else. I've got the classic potato, which everybody has, but most people throw away, and I hope you don't, because you cut it off. There's nothing wrong with it. And I've got some minced pork, onion, a little bit of garlic, and a little bit of seasoning. We are going to make a fantastic pork and apple cottage pie. We don't throw, we cook with the ingredients we've got, and this is going to be a fantastic dinner. Let's get on and do it. Come on. Potatoes, we have to get these on to boil, but we don't want this. So that's coming off there. It's nice and straightforward. These are old potatoes, as you can see. So just peel your potatoes like you normally do. If you use a peeler, use a peeler. That is fabulous. And yep, we're making for mash. Oh, look, there's a bit there. Look, let's get rid of that. We don't want that in our mash, do we? Okay, we're making for mash. So, cube them, roughly the same size, and in a pan of water. Straightforward. Crack on and do that with your potatoes. Come on. Okay, we got a pan full of potatoes there. In there with a little bit of salt. Doesn't matter what you use, this is just some Belgian sea salt. Bit posh, innit, really. On to boil. I'm going to chuck it on behind me while we crack on at the front. We are making normal mashed potatoes, how you make it. So it doesn't get much more straightforward than this recipe. Obviously we're throwing it all together, and it'll be a tasty, delicious one. So we want some sliced or diced onion, whichever way you prefer, and I'm going diced. So don't worry about it, whatever you want in your pie. I'm back in that bowl. In the bowl until we're ready. A little bit of garlic. Mince, big as small as you like. Up to you. It's good enough for me. That's going on the onion. Apple. Now, I would say use one good apple, but I've got these mouldy old things here. So it's peel and core your apples like you normally would. Oh, they're a bit wrinkly old things, these, a bit like me. Alright, there's some wrinkly skin on here. But you know, there's nothing wrong with this produce. And there's going to be the people say, oh, I can't eat fruit with my savoury. But you know, then they'd have a roast pork dinner and slap a big pile of apple sauce on there, you know. This way, it's got the apple sauce already inside. And yeah, if you don't eat apple and pork mixed together, you're not making this. Now you can slice, dice, do whatever you want, as big as small as you want. Okay, let's not get hung up on this sort of stuff. It's whatever you want. And if you want it to completely disintegrate in there, slice it or dice it as small as possible, and it will disintegrate into your pie. You know, there's many recipes in British cooking, especially, you know, Bedfordshire Cornish, pasties, that type of thing. You know, they used to have fruit at one end, savoury at the other end, you know. An all-in-one dinner for the miners. Now these apples are pretty good actually, even though they're a bit wrinkly and old. Actually, 2 might be good enough, actually. We're going to do 2, we're not going to do 3. So that's 2 old Granny Smiths. I would recommend using a good Granny Smith. This eating apple, and what we're going to do with this poor thing, put it back in there. And we got a little bit of carrot. To have some colour in here. So we want some little cubes of carrot. Grab a bowl. In a bowl. There's quite a lot of carrot there actually. Might have been able to do half a carrot, but there you go. Straightforward, easy cook. A little bit of oil in there, look. Flame on. In there, carrots. Start your carrots off first because they're hardest veg. Just about a minute on those, should do that. Nice and steady. Onion and garlic. Just take that rawness out of the onion and the garlic, nice and steady. It's only about a minute, you know. When you've had about a minute, we're going in there with our pork. Now it is a browning on this, so mash it up, break it up, get it in there, and we want to cook on this pork. Now I want a little bit of seasoning going in there. Going in there with some sage and some thyme. Give it a little stir through. Oh, what a smell. You know, and you can do this with pork sausages too. Take the skins off, use the sausage meat we're at now. You know, okay, this pork doesn't have quite the same seasoning as sausages, but it's got the thyme and it's got the sage in there. So you can cheat by using pork sausages. In there, splash of Worcester. Now you can use Henderson's if you want to use Henderson's. For those people who don't know what Henderson's is, there's a Henderson's bottle. Made in Sheffield in Yorkshire. However, Worcester sauce is readily available all around the world and has a stronger flavour. So it's up to you. In there, our apple. Nice little bring in. Oh, it maybe could have done with 3 apples, look. Apple's going to all disappear. But that flavour's going to be in there. Delish. And apple and pork and everything goes okay with Dijon mustard. In we go. Stir that through. Oh, what a smell. A little bit of seasoning in there with some pepper. In there with a little bit of salt. Season to taste. You know what you like. In there, a good tablespoon of flour. And just cook out that rawness of the flour in there. Nice and steady. Come on, how straightforward is that? Just give it a little cooking on there. Turn it over a couple of times. And we'll chuck our stock in. There we go. In there with our stock. Okay, what we're doing now is going to cook this for about 10 to 15 minutes And we're going to cook this down. This is going to thicken up. It's going to have a nice moist filling. Now, I'm not putting gravy granules or anything in there. I'm relying on this. If you want to put gravy granules or gravy powder, OXO cubes, whatever, you can mix it up to make a gravy. But I'm going to have a gravy with it at the end. And I'm not going to make the gravy. I'm just going to use gravy granules. Tip some water in. So this nice and simmer for about 10 to 15 minutes. And then all we do in that 10 to 15 minutes, as per usual, a little turnover, make sure nothing is sticking on the pan. Okay, whilst that's doing there, mash up your potatoes in your usual way. Whatever you do to mash your potatoes. So in there for me, a little bit of butter, a little bit of warm milk, and that will do. A little bit of seasoning, and mash. That's enough for me, no more than that. I actually want bits of potato in my mash. Oh, there we go. That's looking fabulous. Right, we don't want to take it any more than that because we actually want a moist filling inside. That is absolutely perfect. That'll do nicely. That's flame off. So make sure you've got your oven on about 190, 200 degrees, somewhere around about there. 380, 400F. Let's get sorted. Okay, today's dish, about a 9 by 13. In there, our cottage pie mix, our pork and apple, little bring out. Fabulous. That looks sensational. And we want some mash on there. Grab a fork and gently to the edges, because we're going to try and trap it in a little bit if we can. Don't squash it at all. We don't want any of this squashed. We want rough peaks. I mean, you can go all fancy and put your lines on if you want. We're not interested in that. We're interested in dinner on the table. And if we put some peaks on like this, when we put the cheddar on, the cheddar is going to brown to the top of the peaks and cook into the mash. And we want some cheddar. A nice strong cheddar will work with this one. So it's up to you. If you don't want to use cheddar, use a Swiss cheese, use anything. You know, we don't want an oil slick on the top of here. We actually want melted cheese. There you go. That looks fabulous. That goes in the oven. Goes in the oven to bake for about 25-30 minutes. Now you can put a little bit of salt and pepper on there if you wanted. Okay, smells great in here. Come on, out it comes. Oh yeah, oh yeah, look at that. That is spectacular. Okay, we need to be leaving that about 8 to 10 minutes. Just let it cool down. We got a nice, beautiful top on there. Let it cool down and we're going to get stuck in. I want this one with all the peaks on it straight through there, look. So let's just take that off there, scoop out the bottom and put this back on. Look at that. Oh, on there. Oh, it smells absolutely incredible. Put that on there. Oh, look at that. That is superb. On there with some peas. Come on. You don't need much more than that. We've got carrots and everything in there. Look at that. Just look at that. That is our pork and apple cottage pie. Don't get much more easy than that, does it? And it's up to you whether you want a gravy. A nice, stodgy onion gravy. Perfect. Come on, we're in. You know, it's a cottage pie. It's potato. It's a bit of meat in there, seasoning. Come on. It is absolutely fantastic. Oh yeah. Oh, I love that. Oh, I love it. That little bit of apple in there. It's just like eating pork and apple sauce. It is delicious. Obviously with our gravy. Little bit of taste of cheddar coming through there with that cheddar mash. That's a fantastic save right there. We didn't throw the potatoes away. We used the old apples. We put a bit of pork with it instead of beef mince, and we've turned up with a fantastic dinner. It's really delicious, easy to come together, worth making. It's sensational. If you like what we're doing, share one time. Social media, Facebook, anywhere. Help the channel grow. I'll be really grateful. Thank you for that. And if you do like what we're doing, boom, big thumbs up. Ring that bell. Catch you in the next video. This is just unbelievable. Don't forget you can freeze in portions. There you go.